Hi everyone, this is Kelly from Truth in Story, and today we're taking a look at The Secret Language of Color Cards by Ina Segal, or Ina, I'm guessing Ina, but you know. She is apparently the creator of the Visionary Intuitive Healing. Don't know what that is, but she is the creator of that. So I have been on a color kick. Now obviously my own deck is quite color based and it's quite colorful and very beautifully, well in my opinion, very beautifully and richly, I should say, saturated. And so that's kind of, I was painting this and then working with this, and then so I've been doing obviously months of this kind of bright color palette. And so that has led me to, I've also been working with flowers, and so like this kind of a deck with these bright, rich colors, it's very similar, rich color. Oh, so sorry for that motorcycle being obnoxious. Color palettes, and this is another newer deck that I have, again, just kind of really vibrant color palettes. So that's really where I have been at in the last few months. I also, this is out for another reason. Yes, I do love this, but this is not really to look at the color palette, although it's a beautiful deck, but we're going to talk about this in a second. But this is kind of, where my color has been at in the last months, and especially in the last month or two when I've been working with this flower energy and these just rich colors. So when somebody had recommended this in a comment, I thought, oh, yeah, I went and looked on Amazon and it was literally $10. And I'm like, oh, shoot, it's $10. I had looked at this before, but for whatever reason it didn't, I didn't buy it. But then for $10, I'm like one of those suckers, like, okay, it's $10. What's, I'll get it and take a look at it. Now, this is where this comes in. I will say this. I have looked at this already, and I have shuffled and drawn from it. We did I did a live chat with a theme about ritual and the idea of how we use ritual. And so at the end, I did pull cards from this one, which it was a really nice reading. And so I did shuffle this. I put it all back in order. But because I have done it, I will say this. Originally, this is a Blue Angel deck, aka Blue Angel deck here, and that you can, and it's the secret language of color, but it's spelled the European way with the O-U-R instead of the O-R. That's how you'll know the difference. Obviously, it's also by Blue Angel. And there is quite a significant difference. This is Beyond Worlds. I have another deck or two, I believe, that are by this Beyond Worlds, and I remember having the same issue with the cardstock, but I can't off the top of my head remember which it is. But you can tell the cardstock is much thinner than the cardstock of the Blue. Blue Angel's good cardstock, and especially for Oracle decks, I think it's really fantastic cardstock. And this is a lot thinner than the Blue Angel. It's the same size-ish, just some slight variation, but way thinner of the deck. And you can also even just tell with the book. Blue Angel guidebooks all tend to look like this. They're really nicely bound on the side, whereas this is more of just a stapled guidebook. Now, is it possible that the Blue Angel version was like this because it's a thinner guidebook? I suppose so. I don't know that. But you can just tell it's not, in terms of quality, it is not Blue Angel. And so that's why you're going to see this deck cheaper than what you would normally see a Blue Angel deck going for. So I really want to make sure that I pointed it out, that this is not the Blue Angel version of this deck, but it is the Beyond Worlds American version or US version. And you can tell, again, it wouldn't be Blue Angel, but the big thing that would cue you in is the difference in the OR and the OUR. So that should help you if you want this version. You can also tell by price, because again, on Amazon this was going for $10 versus I couldn't even find, I think, any of, when I went back, when I realized how much thinner the cardstock is and went back to look, I don't know if there were any, if this was on Amazon. I've got to go back and check again. But it was definitely, you're going to look more in the $25 range for the Blue Angel version, I'm sure. I'll have to check Book Depository maybe. So that's that. I wanted to make sure I was clear about that. But let's get on to the deck. Oops, now I got everything upside down, but that's okay. We're going to take it all apart. It does have a nice box. Like, this is a very sturdy, very similar to a Blue Angel box. So they kept the box right. Personally, I'd rather the box to have been a little bit crappier and kept the cards nicer. That's my, if I had a say in the matter, which clearly I did not, I would say, you know, make the box crappier. So this doesn't even have to, I'm not going to keep this in there. You know, this is a nice, very similar to exactly like a Blue Angel thick box. Has the bright yellow on the inside. I would have preferred this to be thinner and the cardstock to be left alone. But that's neither here nor there, just what it is. So there we have that. So it's a nice box, great box to keep it in. It's about the same size as a Blue Angel, same height and stuff as a Blue Angel box. So, you know, it goes on your shelf really nice. I do really love these boxes. And then here, we'll come back to the cards in a minute, but let's take a look at the guidebook here. So it is, let's see, about 70, the last regular page is about 80 pages. It does have at least a very small version, thumbnail, grayscale thumbnail of the card, but at least it has something on there. Let's see what she's talking about here in terms of color, because that's what the deck is obviously about. For thousands of years, people have used color for healing, entertainment, to create beauty, and to feel more radiant and alive. Colors are everywhere, in nature, our homes, our closets, our food. So it goes on to, can you imagine, try to imagine a world without color, and how she talks about an experience where she asks somebody, you know, if a restaurant was, you know, in gray tones versus other tones, like how would changing the colors of the restaurant change when you walked in, how your first reaction and what you would expect to be, you know, just talks about that. Also talks about using it for healing and how to use it for healing, either placing the card on your body. Not sure about that so much, but you know, you have to each his own. Chakra clearing with the color cards. Now, this is my chakra set of stones, and so I would say, you know, for me, I would go to my chakra stones for that. But you could use this to kind of tell what colors you needed to go with, right? Talks about other things you can do with color to help you, such as meditate on the color, eat or drink the color, wear the color, surround yourself with color, spend time in nature with natural color, paint, you know, all these kinds of things, just being creative. Different questions that people ask, and then it goes into the cards themselves. And so let's take a look at the first one, just so you can get a feel for the guidebook. So number 1 is rainbow, and it says connect to spirit in nature. Rainbow, so it's got the little grayscale, the name, rainbow, connect with spirit in nature, and then it gives us a little section. Rainbow ray is a combination of many colors together, making it a very powerful and regenerating energy to work with. Rainbow allows you to lighten up and feel happier and more alive. It also opens the mystical realm, connecting you to spirit, fairies, angels, and your creativity. Allow rainbow rays to lead you into the realm of fairies. As ways to connect with the spirit of nature is to go, she gives you some suggestions. Go to a park, look around and find a tree that attracts you. Stand still and focus within, feeling the tree's pull as it beckons you. Walk over to the tree and place your arms around it. Feel its connection to earth, to other trees, to the world. Allow some of the tree's divine energy to pour into your body, fill you up, and awaken your own divinity. Walk around the park, smell the flowers, listen to the birds singing, and smile as you take in the beauty of nature. Visualize a rainbow and allow it to bathe your body, strengthening your connection to spirit, to nature, and the divine. Then ask the rainbow rays to connect you to the fairy nature kingdom. You may start to notice sparkling lights around the flowers. Talk to the fairies and ask them to help you in any areas of your life where you need assistance, as they are great at manifesting. Say, divine intelligence, please allow me to connect to the fairy kingdom to awaken my vitality, aliveness, and divinity. So I don't, in all fairness, I don't generally work too much with Oracle deck guidebooks. I do like to read them through once because I think it's important to at least, somewhat connect to where they're coming from. But I do tend to find that they go a little bit, for me, everybody's got their own, this is normal noise, okay, I can handle, oh, we're moving a little bit into the cheesy factor realm, and then, can push us too far over the cheese factor, and it doesn't work for us. And everybody's spectrum of that is completely different. I love a good cheese factor in a lot of things, such as sci-fi movies and things of that nature, but I have a fairly low, I think, tolerance for cheese factor in my divination tools. So sometimes I can handle it. So I tend to stay away from Oracle deck guidebooks. However, I will say one of the things that I like here is that the first section, which I don't think this one showed as much, so let's just try 2 here. Oops, wrong 2. Here we have red. Very vibrant colors. We're going to get there in a minute. Free yourself from pain. Red contains unlimited energy, vitality, and power, and draws money and prosperity into your life. It is a powerful agent for healing blood disorders, improving circulation, healing diseases, drying up sores or wounds, warming cold areas of the body, and reducing pain. And because red releases adrenaline to stimulate mental and physical energy, red can relieve depression. Use a red sword of light to heal on all levels. See, I think that's helpful. I think it's more like the suggestions of the things to do, just because I've read a few of them, kind of really tapping into talking to divine love, and these things are probably not all things that I would do, but I do like this first paragraph here that just kind of talks about how that color, what the energy of that particular color is, and so that's good, to have that. And then a lot of people will absolutely love the rest of this, and again, I'll read through them all just to give it its fair chance there. But to me, the guidebook in Oracle decks are fairly, they don't make or break a deck for me, because I tend to just read a deck intuitively based off of the image, the title of it, and then sometimes the key phrases or keywords, sometimes I ignore those, and it's just the image and the single title has something to say. So that tends to be how I approach Oracle decks. So I very rarely go back to the Oracle deck, the guidebook, once I've read it. There are some exceptions, but so yeah. So it's not make it or break it for me, but at least it does give you information. I think this first paragraph is really good for just really getting into what does that color do energetically, and then she does give you some actual exercises that you can do if that's something that you resonate with. You have that there to be able to do. So not a ton of information, but I think, enough to get you started, or if you were to get a card that you're like, I don't really know about that one, at least it does give you some extra information on where to go from there. So let's take a look. Let me zoom in a little bit now. The backs, I think, are really beautiful. They are, color. We've got kind of reds and orange and yellows and greens. Really no blues or violet. Nothing on the cool end, other than green obviously is moving towards the cool end, but it's definitely a much more warm palette on the back. But I think it's really beautiful. It is not reversible, but generally people don't use Oracle decks for reversals. Certainly the book doesn't talk about them at all, but I think the back is really beautiful. Again, cardstock is really thin, which is going to make it shuffle really easily, but at the same time, how well these are going to hold up. But for $10, you get what you pay for. If you pay $10, you're probably going to get thinner cardstock. Just zip it in here a little closer. So here we have rainbow. Connect to spirit in nature, which we talked about. So just seeing the beauty, which a lot of these, even of the colors, have natural, things like flowers and such of that nature. But this is really focused on that idea of seeing the beauty in nature, which I think is gorgeous. Red, free yourself from pain. Watermelon, have fun with your inner child. I really like that. I love watermelon to eat, and I love the color as watermelon. And you can see that the bottoms change based off of the color itself, so that's nice too, as well as the picture. But I do like, I have a lot of memories of cutting wedges of watermelon and stripping the kids down in the backyard and letting them eat, make a complete mess eating watermelon. So I do like that. Here we have pink, Let Love In. Beautiful tulips. Magenta, Connect to Your Deepest Inner Knowing. Rose, for Attract a Relationship. These are definitely empowering or uplifting words. This is definitely, in my opinion, this functions as an affirmation deck. But I knew that when I got it. So I generally don't buy these, but again, $10, and I do like them sometimes. Like I said, we got a great empowering message during live chat, which is a lot of times what I like to pull something like this for. But this is a great thing to also pull, I think, at the end of a reading, just for like what is a color energy to tap into. Scarlet, Attract Success. So you can see, it's like, okay, well, is there really any variation? Well, you can see where we have the red and you've got the scarlet moving a little bit more towards the orange tones there. Here you have ruby, to rejuvenate your body. Cherry, to live an extraordinary life. Let's just take a quick peek. Yeah, I like to see what else they give us here, just in terms of the color. Oops. Number 9. Cherry raises your self-esteem and brings sweetness, happiness, and wisdom into your life. It can open your heart and allow you to listen to your heart's desire. A deep and full color, cherry encourages you to live your life to the max. See, I like that. You've got that rich darkness of the cherry color. That's really pretty. Love this burgundy color, right? Connects to your passion, vibrancy, and enthusiasm for life. Awaken your passion. Also energizes you when you're feeling down. Beautiful auburn for ground yourself. Brown to establish boundaries. I don't think that the image here necessarily speaks to establishing boundaries. I do like the brown and the earth as making boundaries, but I don't think the new growth of this, you see that and you do think like new growth because it's this new little plant. So I don't necessarily think that this image really says anything about the meaning, but chocolate brown, nourish your body and soul. Not sure that chocolate nourishes your body. Perhaps dark chocolate, and I don't like dark chocolate. Here we have bronze for strength in your body. I love the image here. Does work with it. So yeah, this one does work. Beautiful amber to awaken your creativity. Orange is gorgeous. Nurture yourself. Again, I guess I don't personally think of orange as nurturing. I think of that as more vibrancy, but I have to think about that. Tangerine, be spontaneous and have fun. Kind of similar energy, although I guess you could, being spontaneous isn't necessarily working with the inner child. So I do think that's different than having fun with your inner child. Coral, allow flow and synchronicity into your life. So you can see difference. I don't know if you can see that on the screen, but you can see this is probably the closest I've seen so far, but you can tell the difference. Peach, to inhale the breath of life. Apricot, rejoice and laugh. See a lot of like uplifting energies here. This is definitely, in my opinion, quite an affirmation and kind of a feel-good deck, which is great for, I think, daily draws. It's how I've been using the Soulflower deck, is that burst of color, kind of set with that energy for a day or two until I feel like drawing another one. I think this would be a really good deck for that as well. Gold, to attract abundance. Yellow to purify your body. Again, I think that's interesting. I just look here. Yellow assists with purification, treating diabetes and cleaning the intestines and bowels. Eases arthritis, releases toxicity, and clear your skin with yellow. As the color of intellect and mental stimulation, yellow can also help you think more quickly and clearly. Purify your digestive system with yellow rays of light. Lemon, which you got some of the similar things here with the lemon. In Innovative Thinking, we got this particular card in live chat, and it was actually really appropriate to the, I think the reading had a message between the two cards that we pulled, but there's a sharpness and a brightness to lemon that's even brighter than standard yellow. You know, there's always the warms and cools, and this is a warmer yellow and a cooler yellow, like lemon yellow in watercolor paints. Here we have white to lighten up, pearl to connect to the divine, brilliance. You know, this is the strange one because I think this is the only one so far. Well, we have chocolate. I'm going to leave these out. We'll come back to this and see if, well, yeah, cherry can be a color or a thing, I guess, because you do think cherry red. So that to me works. Most of these are, you know, pink, magenta, rose is kind of a color. I guess pearl white, I mean, you do, it's more of an adjective, I guess, but brilliance to me just even like is like chocolate and cherry. Those aren't really, I could see saying cherry red, so that one I'm not going to count. But chocolate is not really a color, right? I guess if you said milk chocolate or dark chocolate color, it can describe a color, but brilliance isn't really a color, so that's kind of a strange one for me. But discover your sparkle, that's also to me a little bit, and I thought this was different because this is silver, which you would think would be discover your sparkle. Like that would certainly work if you wanted that discover your sparkle in there. But silver is about persistence. So let's just see what it says. Brilliance. Oh, it's brilliance. Silver is a color of peace and persistence, calming nervous tension, bringing serenity and expanding awareness. Silver also strengthens the healing process through purification, releasing diseases and density from the body, and flushing toxicity from the blood. I don't know a lot about color therapy. I know color therapy is a thing, and so obviously these colors have very specific meanings for them. I don't personally think of silver, like this picture makes me think of sparkly things less than about persistency and purification. So that's something I obviously am going to be able to learn some more with. I love the image on black. Although a just straight up black card would have made me happy as well. But it says find richness from the dark night. I do like that a lot. Here we have gray for learn to scan your body. I thought that was an interesting title underneath it as well. It says gray identifies blockages in your body or aura, providing information about your mental, emotional, and physical state. So use gray to give you an alternative point of view. So that is really interesting. Emerald to calm your mind, body, and soul. Green in general, you know, just a general green to revitalize your nervous system. Jade to take action. We got this, we had received jade and lemon yellow together, and it actually really made a nice reading, so I was quite happy with that. Aqua, experience peace and calm. We do have this kind of calm your mind, body, and soul. Like, you know, it's a little bit different, I suppose. I could definitely see different ways I could read those, but they're similar. Turquoise, awaken your empathy. Cyan, to build your confidence. Very highly saturated. These two are quite, I mean, they're all highly saturated, but these two this seems oversaturated to me, the image itself. I like this down here, but that seems like it's hyper saturated. Azure for the sky, protect yourself. Again, I think of skies as protection, so that's an interesting combo of image and meaning. So I don't, so I do see some slight issues for surrounding, you know, are we just to strictly look at the color, or do we look at the image? It says, Azure purifies your aura and strengthens your connection to the divine, leading you to discover your truth and empowering you to make important life choices. Immerse yourself with azure rays to protect yourself from negative, dense energies and to find your center. Even reading that, I don't see, other than connecting with the divine, I don't see a lot with this image, but I do love the color. Blue, to activate your healing power. Sapphire, to regenerate your body. Purple, to develop mental clarity. I do feel like we have a couple about mental clarity, like definitely the yellow, lemon yellow talked about it in the guidebook, as well as the actual yellow, even though it doesn't say it here, it talks about that, about it being associated with the mind and providing clarity. Let's see. Purple helps with eyesight, hearing, and bringing back a sense of smell. Clears mental complexes, negativity and inflammation, aids with rheumatism, pain, and healing of bones, creating a connection between your mind, body, and soul. Purple also brings positivity and success. Use purple to clear your mind and let go of negativity. So a little bit more specific in what it's doing, I guess, in the mental realm. Indigo, to improve your vision. Plum, to overcome challenges. So we've seen 2 so far. Well, there's protect yourself. There's a little shadow there, but it's mostly, I think, affirmation and empowerment. I love the color plum. Lilac, to strengthen your faith. Mauve, to enjoy clear hearing. Lavender, it's gorgeous, to connect body, mind, and soul. I feel like we had one about body, mind, and soul, but I think it was something different. I think it was balance. Calm it. This is connecting to it. And then lastly, violet, to create a balanced life. So these 2 are a little strange because I don't think they really have anything to do with color names at all, or even adjectives for colors. Brilliance could go, I guess, to any color. But I will have to do a little bit more. I know there is such thing as color therapy, and I do know that colors do have correspondences. I work a little bit with that with the spell candles that I use. And I do have a little list of how I reference different colors, so I will certainly have to kind of give a little bit. You can even feel, like when I'm overhand shuffling, and I get down to just like 1, it really bends in, like I feel like I could squeeze too hard and hurt the card. So yeah, definitely very poor cardstock in this version of the deck. But all that being said, there is something about the deck that really appeals to me, and I think it's just the bright colors. I know there's another deck that I think is out of print, or quite expensive, I'm not sure which, or both, that is just really straight colors, that's quite gorgeous. And I think Wild Moon Woman Tarot, Wild Moon Woman, Elise, I think she's done some videos on that. Whoops. But yeah, the cardstock is really bad. And you know me, I am not overly picky about cardstock, but when you get really thin cardstock that gets larger, it starts to get flimsier and flimsier. Now the smaller that you go, the least you don't really like. So if in a Lenormand size deck, having too thick of cardstock is actually really hard to shuffle because you don't get any bend. But the larger that you go with thin cardstock, you get too much bend. And so what might do okay in a smaller deck, like a playing card, is not going to be nice at all in a larger cardstock, and this is definitely too large to have it that bendy. So it doesn't, let me look and make sure, I don't think it gives you any kind of spreads or anything like that. So nope, it doesn't give you any spread. But I mean, I definitely think you could do like a body, mind, and soul, right? So let's say you did body, mind, and spirit here, right? So in the body, you need to create balance. In your physical life, you need some balance. You need to adjust your schedule. You need to exercise and eat well so that you can just be at a balance, more balanced and healthier you. In the mind, activate your healing power. So there's some things that you need to access. There might be too much anxiety going on in your mind. There may be too much energy bouncing around, a lot of mental chatter. There's some healing and some, but it's an action, right? It's activate your healing powers. This is actively going into your mind and kind of setting things right. So you can have that. And then in spirit, we have overcome your challenges. So spiritually, there may be at a soul kind of deep level, there are some challenges that you've really been facing that you need to start to overcome those and doing these things, getting your regular life, your physicality of your life in order, and doing that healing work in the mind and getting your mindset right is going to help. They kind of work together, because doing those things would certainly overcome some of challenges you might be having within the spirit. So I think a body, mind, and spirit might be really nice for this kind of deck. We just did a 2 card just kind of as a, okay, what message? So just from that. So establish boundaries and live an extraordinary life. So you can live bold and you can live loud and you can go out there and just live that extraordinarily vibrant life, but having boundaries is still going to be important, right? Like we do have to sort of have, and even just the idea of brown, like I would go further with the brown, even though I know there's other cards. Brown is that really earth oriented, right? You've got that soil there, like you're really digging into the ground and finding groundedness and boundaries. Having those basic foundation, that strength of boundary, that strength of groundedness is what's going to allow you to live this extraordinarily life. It's going to allow you to leap off from a much more stable place. So I really do like these. Just a few like playing with readings that I've done. I think that you could certainly use it in readings. So if I pull, let's start with a color maybe. So if I pull a color about creating a balanced life, okay, well, create a balanced life. So I'm going to, balance and harmony is the lily card. So then I, might go, okay, let's go find the lily card. Right, which is right here. I'm going to put that up here, and I'm going to take 2 cards after it and 2 cards before it. And okay, well, we need a balanced life. How are we going to go about doing that? So now we've got 2 cards on either side. We have that side needing to gain some perspective about our sense of well-being. If things aren't balanced, if we need to create a balanced life, then more than likely that means things are not in balance. And so we've got to get up and above things and gain some perspective so that we can get this balance that we clearly need, because this is affecting our sense of well-being. This is affecting our health. And here we have a message, this idea of connecting to other people. One of the ways in which we may be unbalanced is that we are not connecting with people, that we are kind of stepped away. That Tower card could also mean kind of stepped away and kind of in a period of retraction, but maybe it's time to get out there and connect with other people, because there are things for you to hear, there's messages for you to gain from connecting with other people. Again, this is not a real reading, just kind of showing you how you might incorporate this with another deck. So yeah, I'm actually optimistic about this being useful. For, we always do live chat draws, which I think are these types of empowering decks, I think are really good for that, because we're not really trying to get into anybody's individual issues. We're just in there trying to, just what's there something to leave, what's a note to leave on. And I think that this would be really good at the end of a reading. Okay, we've done our tarot reading, we've done all this hard work. What's something to take away with you? Okay, it's really focus on the mental energy, right? Okay, take this away. Things have been difficult, things have been rough, but there is a richness there. There is a beauty in the dark, and don't forget to recognize that. I know, okay, we've done a reading, so there you go. It's time to kind of put out that energy of abundance so that you can attract that abundance back to you, right? So I could see some uses for this. So for definitely for $10, I am not at all disappointed with this deck. I'll be interested to see, you know, I've started to come back and talk about decks after I've used them for a while, so obviously I will be coming back and updating you on how this deck works, as well as just my first impressions. But my first impressions are, I think it's you know, it's not perfect by any means. I think there are some little problem areas with it. I definitely think it's affirmation, which is not negative, just that's not what you're looking for. But from the few little pulls and reads I played around with between live chat and this and what we just did, I feel like this has its place, both in single card draws to kind of set your energy for the day or for the week, and also I'm really feeling like perhaps body, mind, and soul this would be good for as well, or as a basis with other cards that you might use. So I'll let you know how it goes, but thank you for watching. Again, check this out on Amazon, and remember that there are 2 versions, and that the Beyond Worlds is a much different card stock than you're going to get with the Blue Angel. So just be aware of that if you decide to purchase this set. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.